So, I have a sign in my office that says, "You're always stronger than you think you are." And I thought when I first started at the Alzheimer Association that I would need that sign as a daily reminder. But every day, I'm lucky enough to be with folks with a diagnosis and their care partners where I have a daily reminder that of the strength of the human spirit. I am lucky enough to be on stage today with three amazing examples of the strength of the human spirit. And first, there on my far is Bob. And Bob was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2011 at the age of 70. He lives in Marin County and has attended the early stage support group here in Napa for the past 6 months. Valerie, his wife, and Bob love to travel by RV all around the nation. Then we have Cynthia. Cynthia Guzman was diagnosed with younger onset Alzheimer's disease 4 years ago at the age of 63. Her diagnosis was recently changed to Lewy body dementia and Alzheimer's disease. She has served on the National Early Stage Advisory Group and has been an advocate for the Alzheimer's Association. She currently attends the Early Stage Support Group in Napa. And Mike Raspolich lives in Calistoga. He was diagnosed with younger onset Alzheimer's disease 4 years ago at the age of 62. He and his wife Tina both took part in our early stage support group over in Santa Rosa. So, like I mentioned, our early stage support groups, we have a number of them, including one that we partner with Napa Valley Adult Day and Hospice Services, and there's a flyer in each of your packets. So if you yourself have a diagnosis or are caring for someone with an early stage diagnosis, please either see the folks at the Alzheimer's Association table or Napa Valley Adult Day and Hospice Service and start the conversation, and maybe we can get you part of the early stage support groups. Okay. So Bob, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Bob. So, in the beginning, Bob, what were some of the first signs that alerted you to seek medical attention?
Well, I guess everyone, when they start to age, they, have what you would call senior moment. And at work, we had a crowd of about 12 guys that did construction management, and I was one of them. And once a week we would get together and discuss our projects amongst each other. And there was a lot of laughter when it came to me. I was the senior guy in there, the most productive with the most experience, but I was the oldest guy. And when I had a senior moment, there was jokes. And at first, I was laughing about it. And as things went along, all of a sudden, it wasn't funny anymore. And it kept coming up, and they didn't need anything to initiate the laughter. The joke was already there. And so that was always, I didn't take it as that I had a disease. I just thought I was the oldest guy, and I'm the first one that's going to have this problem, the only problem that I had was my speech. But it took a while for it to start and get to the point where I was questioning what was going on. And I started to have problems with my eyesight. and I had difficulty reading, and I used to read and depend on working on a computer. That was my job. And I was having problems with this. And I was involved in very critical projects, and I was making mistakes. But I continued until my wife and I bought a RV, and we went on a trip to pick up the RV. And on that trip, which was 3 days driving, she got a good look at what I was doing driving. And from there, we started to look to see what's going on. And we went to...
Bob, can I stop you there? We're going to get into diagnosis next. So I want to ask Cynthia. Cynthia, what were some of the first signs that made you seek medical attention?
I got lost in familiar places, and I had drove the area for 8 years, so I knew every place, but I couldn't figure out where I was going. And I didn't understand written and verbal information. And I had what I called the lights on, lights off. When the lights were off, things could be on the floor. I couldn't pick them up. I could see them. There was a mop in the kitchen sink. I couldn't fix it, but I could get up every day and look at it. And watching TV, all I ever seen was the food commercials. I couldn't tell you what else was on. But when the lights came on, I had to clean up this mess that I had made when the lights were off. I had to pick up those papers. And one time I went to go wash my clothes because I figured it'd been a while. I can't tell you how long the lights were on and lights were off. But there were no clothes. So the clothes that I had on, I had been wearing for days. So those are some of the things that I had trouble with.
Mike, same question to you. What were some of your first warning signs?
Some of my first warning signs was my speech, able to wordsmith, to use the proper word. I have a similar background to Bob's. I was running a $100 million a year corporation for a Japanese holding company. I could not function. I'd be in boardroom conversations and lose my train of thought, and God for some good assistance. Organizing, planning, things that were so familiar to me, contracts, reading, and I knew there was something.
And Bob, when you did go in and seek medical attention, did you feel that the diagnosis was communicated to you compassionately and thoroughly in a way that you understood?
My experience when I was being studied for this thing, when we were trying to find out what was going on, wasn't good. I was alone in a room with someone doing the testing, and he seemed to be in another world. He had a job to do, but he wasn't paying attention to anything. He was just trying to, feed me papers, and I was having problems reading. I'm almost blind, and he would give me a piece of paper and say, well, just follow the directions here. And I would say, well, I can't read and I can't write. So all of these tests I'm not going to tell you anything because I can't do any of it. And was a final diagnosis after a lot of testing. Some of it was very good, the medical side of it. But in the end, there was a diagnosis, and there wasn't a point where it was, we had to sit down, talk with the doctor, but my wife was, by my side the whole way and was feeding me the information that she was getting from the doctors. So we got eased into the whole program. So,
Cynthia, how about you? Do you feel like your diagnosis was communicated to you?
Yes, I was lucky enough to go to the same doctor for 8 years, my PCP, and when I went in with my list of the things that I was having trouble with, within 24 hours was I in a neurologist. With my son at my side, I was tested and diagnosed first with just dementia, and when I asked the neurologist, what is dementia, he said that my brain was getting older faster than my body. And you know what? That's all I needed to hear for that time. So then I did have that 4-hour psychological testing, and I thought, well, I'm going to pass. Do you have a lot more of this test? Because I know I'm just going to go through this in no time. And when we got to the memory part, I got really upset. And the psychologist said, we need to stop right now. What's the problem? And I said, I'm a lot smarter than what this test is letting me show you. But I can't remember anything. And so she said, you need to do 2 things, and not for the rest of the test, but for the rest of your life. And one is the more stressful you become, the worse your memory will be. And the other is accepting that you are a different person. I went to the Alzheimer's clinic in Arizona, and there I was tested again, and with more knowledge, they said that I did have Alzheimer's. But she said, next month when you come for your visit, I want you to bring all the people that really care about you. They can be here. I want them to sit down, and I want them to write all the questions they have about you and this disease. And then I want to give them the diagnosis, your prognosis, and when we're done here, we're going to go see a social worker, and she's going to give you a packet of how to get ready for the rest of your life, financial, and what to do, which everyone should have that done. So I was very lucky to have that. When I came to this area to live in, I went to UCSF, and with that, I have the associate professor of neurology at UCSF, and so I'm a part of research, and he also explained the same things to me, so I feel very fortunate to have those experiences.
And Mike, do you feel like your diagnosis was thoroughly explained to you?
I guess I kind of have to ask which one. You're really at a denial stage. So it was after the 3rd diagnosis, and I've taken those tests as many times as I can probably give them. Yes.
Okay, and then can we talk a little bit about how life has changed since the diagnosis? Bob, can you tell me kind of what are some of the challenges that you face?
Well, at first I wasn't talking about what was going on with me, even though if I met someone and was having a problem with my speech, I wouldn't say anything. But I could see that people were seeing that there was something going on, and I decided at that time that it would be I'd be better off just coming right out and saying, wait a second, I have some hesitation here, but it's my Alzheimer's, and just don't jump in and try to help me here. I'll get it in a second and, we'll go on. And so I'm finding out that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable just coming out and saying, I have Alzheimer's and, please excuse the hesitation that I have. As a matter of fact, it helped me just the other day because there was a couple that came to visit and I was talking to them and I had to stop and say, you see the hesitation in my voice, that's the Alzheimer's. I've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And what do you know, the woman said, I've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. No, she wasn't diagnosed, but she knew what it was. And out of that, she said that she was going to go in and get tested to see what it is to make sure that she gets into gets medication that she needs.
So it sounds like your ability to talk about it kind of got rid of some of the fear in her that she might be kind of not wanting to get diagnosed with, but that's wonderful. Cynthia, how about you? What are some of the challenges that you face?
Well, I'm a different person than I was 4 years ago when I first started this journey. I don't have the memory that I had before, and this devastating disease is taking my independence away from me. I can't do my own meds anymore, and I need people to help me do shopping. When I watch TV, when the commercial comes on, it's like the show comes on, and I go, wow, I was really watching that, because that's how short-term my memory is. There's many things. I haven't drove for 4 years. I was getting lost driving and that. But, and my cognition is going down. I just was tested for that not too long ago. So there's many, many things that
Mike, what types of challenges do you have? What kind of challenges?
Well, there's some good things. No such thing as reruns on television. I'm kind of relieved in my diagnosis, to be honest with you, and that everything's changed. I can't work anymore, just like my other two friends up here. I wasn't planning on retiring at such an early age. So that's about it.
We're running a little short on time, so I want to ask real quick, what would be a suggestion or one request that you might make to those who are also in the early stages themselves? If you could give one piece of advice.
Don't dwell on it.
Well, what's the question?
If you could give one piece of advice to someone who might be having sick signs themselves or might have a diagnosis, what would be your one piece of advice?
Don't try to write it off as just being, I'm getting old. You know it. You're better off getting the help early than letting it go and not getting the help you need. Don't hesitate.
Cynthia, how about you?
it's really important that you go to get tested, because sometimes it isn't what you think it is. So this is a way of finding out. And if you're not happy with a physician or you don't feel comfortable, you need to find somebody that you feel comfortable with. and going to an early stage Alzheimer's group. And not only for you, but for your family also, because they're a part of it that you're going to depend on.
And Mike, I know you had an answer there too. What would be your one piece of advice?
Once you've received a diagnosis, try not to dwell on it. There's still plenty of life left. We've only been here for 4 years on this. So that's would be my recommendation.
And then if you could make one request of professionals who are working with families and with other early stage individuals, what would you say to the professionals?
They have to be, understanding that, when we have a hesitation, we're looking for the answer to your questions, and don't jump in early because it's just confusing and it makes it worse. So if you just wait a little bit, I'll feel more comfortable and we'll be able to get things done.
And Cynthia, what would be your word?
I always give the vision of going to the Grand Canyon and sitting family members and doctors and people that love the person and have them walking towards the ledge of the Grand Canyon. And the person that's walking says, there's something wrong, but I can still walk, and yeah, I'm doing okay. And everybody's saying, they look pretty good, you know, we see there's something wrong, but let them keep going. And then they fall off. And they go, oh my gosh, we should have done something. Let's do something before we all fall off.
Mike, do you want to share?
Yes, one of the things that I would recommend is treat me with the same amount of dignity and respect that I afford you as clinicians and so forth. Talk to me. If I can't articulate at that time, then part of my life over here is with me all the time. Then communicate with her. But don't treat me like a leper. I am not contagious.
So I have the privilege of facilitating the Napa early stage group where Cynthia and Bob are part of. So in your, at the last session that we held, I put a lot of these questions out to the group, and we have 5 early stage support groups, one in Marin, 2 in Santa Rosa, 1 in Sonoma, and the 1 in Napa. So I kind of assembled a lot of their answers, and I think one of my favorite that came out of last week, what positive things have resulted since your diagnosis? And the answer was the miracle of life is today, being in the moment. And actually, I think he's here in the audience. We have a couple members of our early stage group that are here today. So I applaud all of you for sharing your story.